Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Cry Aloud Messengers. I'm your host, Sister Edith Zombe. Today, our presentation is meat eating a sin? They sinned yet more against him. We read from Psalm 78, verse 17 to 20, and verse 28 to verse 32. It reads, "And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. Yea, they spake against God. They said, Can God furnish a table in the wilderness? He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat and were well filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouth, the wrath of God came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works." We also read 1 Samuel 14, verse 32 to verse 33. It reads, "And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood. And they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have transgressed. Roll a great stone unto me this day." Here, brothers and sisters, we see that the Bible records the journey of the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt going to the promised land. We know that God has given the children of Israel manna as their food. But here, the Bible records that the children of Israel sinned and tempted God by asking meat as food. Here we see that they sinned because it was not in God's will to give them meat as food. This also, brothers and sisters, is happening today in the Church of God. The people of God, the Seventh-day Adventists, we were given the health message to use grains, vegetables, fruits, and nuts, but still we are asking for meat. In this, we also see that we are sinning against God. Here, the Bible also records that the children of Israel ate the meat, but while their meat was yet in their mouth, the wrath of God came upon them. We see that the children of Israel, after eating meat, they died, brothers and sisters. This again is happening today. People are busy feasting on meat, and after eating meat, they die of cancer, they die of tuberculosis, and many other diseases. This simply shows that we are sinning against God by the eating of flesh. We also see here 1 Samuel 14 records that the people of God, they sinned against God by eating meat with blood. This also is happening today. People are eating meat with blood and fat. The eating of flesh is unnatural. We read from manuscript 115, 1903. It reads, "Vegetables, fruits, and grains should compose our diet. Not an ounce of flesh meat should enter our stomachs. The eating of flesh is unnatural. We are to return to God's original purpose in the creation of man." We also read the Ministry of Healing 317, 1905. It reads, Is it not time that all should aim to dispense with flesh foods? How can those who are seeking to become pure, refined, and holy, that they may have the companionship of heavenly angels, continue to use as food anything that has so harmful an effect on soul and body? How can they take the life of God's creatures that they may consume the flesh as luxury? Let them rather return to the wholesome and delicious food given to men in the beginning, and themselves practice and teach their children to practice mercy toward the dumb creatures that God has made and has placed under our dominion. Here, brothers and sisters, we see that inspiration is calling us to be health reformers, that we must use vegetables, we must use fruits, grains. And we also see that not an ounce of flesh meat should enter our stomachs. We also see that the eating of flesh is unnatural. Hence we see, brothers and sisters, that if we do contrary to what inspiration is saying, we are sinning against God. We also see here that the killing of the chickens, of the goats, of the cows in want of flesh, we are just doing that for luxury. It is not necessary, brothers and sisters. That is why here inspiration is telling us that we must practice mercy towards the dumb creatures that God has made and has blessed under our dominion. And we must also teach our children to practice that. Meat eating is dishonoring to God. We read from Christian Temperance and Bible Hygiene, page 119, 1890. It reads, among those who are waiting for the coming of the Lord, meat eating will eventually be done away. Flesh will cease to form a part of their diet. We should ever keep this end in view and endeavor to work steadily towards it. I cannot think that in the practice of flesh eating, we are in harmony with the light which God has been pleased to give us. We also read Bible Training School, July 1, 1902. It reads, at this stage of the earth's history, meat eating is dishonoring to God. It is meat eating and liquor drinking that are making the world as it was in the days of Noah. Here, brothers and sisters, inspiration is also telling us that we must be health reformers. We also see that meat eating is dishonoring to God. This is simply telling us that when we are eating meat, we are sinning against God. Conclusion of the matter. Meat eating is dishonoring to God. When you dishonor God, you are sinning. Not an ounce of flesh meat should enter our stomachs. The eating of flesh is unnatural. God's people cannot kill God's creatures that they may consume the flesh as luxury. They need to practice mercy towards the dumb creatures that God has made and has placed under our dominion. For more information, contact our admins at Cry Aloud Messengers. God bless.